I was talking to someone the other day, and I was talking to them about like a lot of things that I had planned and a lot of things that I want accomplished. And, they were asking me about it, and, we were having conversations about it. And before that conversation was over with, he was like, "Well, what's stopping you? What's taking you so long?" And, I had to really think about that because sometimes, what stops us from achieving what we need to achieve is really us. It's really you living in your head and your mind. And then I start thinking like our mind is really our biggest obstacle that we have to face. A lot of times we'll psych ourselves out of things that we really like or we really enjoy. We don't have enough confidence in ourselves. We don't believe in ourselves enough. And, we just kind of just give up hope, or we might think that we're too old, or we might think that we're not in shape enough, or, we might not have the money at that time, or, whatever the circumstance or whatever the situation may be. But a lot of that is really just all in your mind. You have to really change your way of thinking, and you have to put forth the effort and to get whatever you want to get. And part of that is changing the way you think. You have to look at the bigger picture. A lot of times we want everything just to fall into place, everything just to be all right, and everything just to be magically perfect. But that really doesn't happen. You have to put forth the effort. You have to make sure that you're doing the research. You have to make sure that you're studying. You have to make sure that you're doing your due diligence in order to reach whatever you're trying to achieve. And, why not just step out there on faith and just do it? Nothing beats a failure but a try. You have to try something. And one thing and one phrase that I like, and it's from Star Wars. I'm kind of like a Star Wars geek. A lot of you might know this scene is when Master Yoda was talking to Luke, and Luke was trying to get the spaceship out of the water, and he failed a couple of times, and Yoda told him to do it again, and he was like, "Well, I'll try." Yoda told him, he was like, "No, there's no such thing as try. You either do or you do not, but there is no try." And that really kind of hit home for me a lot of times when I'm in certain situations where, like, okay, I'll try it out. No, no, no. I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it, and I'll worry about the outcome later. Because a lot of times people look at a situation, if they don't get the outcome that they want, they might think like, oh, okay, I failed. I don't look at it as like I failed. I look at it like as, okay, so I know how not to do it. So maybe I'll do it better next time, or let me figure out a different way to do it. And that's the whole understanding or the whole interpretation of is if you have to fail a lot of times before you get it right. It's about doing things over and over and over again until you perfect it. A lot of times people say it's insanity to do things over and over again and expect different results. But how I look at that phrase, to me, is just like practice. You have to practice and do things over and over again. You might have to tweak it a little bit. You might have to change it up. But as you doing over and over and over again until you get it right, just like if you're playing an instrument, you have to practice that same scale or that same phrase over and over again until it just becomes natural and you get it right and you can do it without thinking about it. And that's the same principle you have to apply with everything in life. If you're trying to go to law school, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a musician, if you want to be a teacher, everything that you do has to go towards you getting that goal and you getting that dream. And a lot of the times it's in our mind. We'll think that, oh, I can't do that, or I can't do this, or this is going to be too hard. Well, everything is hard. You have to choose your hard. It's hard being in the same place and wishing that you were in another place, but to get to that other place is going to be hard. So you have to choose your hard. Sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I'm suffering at this job in this position, but I don't want to do the work or do the research or get the knowledge in order to do something else, but both of them are going to be hard. So it's either you're going to suffer in the situation you're in, or you're going to suffer trying to achieve your goals. And I guarantee you, once you suffer and you are trying to achieve your goals, it's a better outcome. And I shouldn't even say suffer, because once you're trying to get out of a situation or you're trying to advance yourself, that's knowledge that you're gaining. gaining. That's experience that you're gaining. Those are things that are helping you to create a better life for yourself and to find fulfillment and joy in the things that you love doing. A lot of times I see out here in the world, a lot of people are just like, repeating the same cycle every day. They go to work, they come home. They go to work, they come home. And then you have 2 days on the weekend. And a lot of times people are just catching up on sleep because they're so tired and they're so mentally drained, from what they were doing during that past week. And it's like, it's got to be more than life than that, but you have to create that. You have to be willing to take the risk. You have to be willing to go out there and get what you want in life and get what you want out of life. Life is not meant to just be a robot. We're not like ants that just follow a pattern and never try anything new or try anything different. It also comes with educating yourself and reading and changing your surroundings. Once you change your surroundings and get around people that are moving in the same direction that you're moving in, then you're going to start moving in that direction too. A lot of times we get at these jobs and, there are people there that are just like negative Nancy's and they just like to be negative, like, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, I'm old. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I tried to do this. Oh, you can't do that. Just because they failed and don't have enough self-confidence and they believe in them, do not believe in themselves, that don't mean that you can't do it. You shouldn't put yourself in the same category as them. And a lot of times I see why they say don't let people know what your dream and your vision is. And I kind of understood. I kind of was taken aback by that. I was like, why wouldn't you want people to know? How is she going to get help? And it's not so much as you not letting people know what you want to do in life. Is letting certain people know what you want to do in life. Those people that want to move in the same direction that you're moving in. And you might not even have the same goals, but they're working on something and they're positive and they're living in a positive environment and they have positive influence and they're trying to, live their life within their dreams and their ambitions, and they're not going to be negative is what I'm trying to say. So you should surround yourself with like-minded people. A lot of times we can get caught up with work and then we can get caught up with hanging out with people at work. But me, I don't really try to hang out with people when I was at work and working with all of my jobs or anything like that. I would do my job, go home and focus on what I need to focus on in order to make my life better, because I never wanted to be at a situation or at one particular job for the rest of my life. You stay there for like 20 or 30 years, you get a nice little retirement and you get a job. I mean, you get a watch or something like that. And then you walk off into the sunset. No, man, life is meant to be lived. So why not live it? So it's like you need to set yourself up for success. You need to make a plan, stick to it. But before you do all that, man, you have to believe it. You have to win up here before you win out there. And I can't focus on this enough. You have to win in your mind before you win anywhere else. Because if you do not believe it, nobody else is going to believe it, and you will not be able to achieve it because you won't believe it. But you have to believe in yourself. I mean, you can move mountains. You can do whatever you put your mind to, but it takes focus, it takes discipline, and it takes a whole lot of sacrifice. And it's like, sometimes people are not willing to put the sacrifice in, but if you're not willing to put the sacrifice in, then you're sacrificing a whole lot more. You're sacrificing your happiness, you're sacrificing your health, your mental health. It's not really good to be in an environment that you really don't want to be in for a long time, because you're not living in your truth. You're not living to your full potential. You're not being who you were born to be. And a lot of times we try to cut that voice off, or we get embarrassed, or we get a little scared, or we're unsure of ourselves. But why are you unsure of yourself? You got the potential to be whatever you want to be in life. There's nothing stopping you. The only thing that's stopping you is you. Who cares what people think? They're going to judge you where you are. They're going to judge you if they're going to judge you if you're doing what you want to do, and they're going to judge if you're not doing what you want to do. So would you rather them judge you on doing what you want to do and you're living happy, as opposed to them judging you and you're not even doing what you want to do? And then who cares what people think anyway? Everybody has dreams and ambitions. Who cares what they think? You have to get out and do what works for you. Because at the end of the day, only you can change your situation. Only you can change what you only you can change your situation, and only you can change your circumstances. So if you're not willing to put in the work and you're not willing to make the sacrifices, then you can't really complain about where you are. Everything that you have done in life has led you to where you are. So it's like, it's time out for the procrastination. It's time out for making excuses. It's time out for, oh, well, I don't know if I can do this. And I know when it's a phrase when I was pledging my fraternity, what they say is excuses are tools of incompetence built on monuments of nothingness, and those who use them seldom amount to anything. And that meant a whole lot to me. Because if you're using excuses are just ways for you to psych yourself out of doing what you really need to be done. And procrastination is like one of the biggest demons that you have to slay. You have to slay that procrastination demon. And once you slay that procrastination demon, hey man, the floodgates are open up to you. And when you reading like the Lord's Prayer and they say, yea, though I walk through the valleys and the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because thou rod and thy staff are with me. When you're walking through the valleys and the shadow of death, man, that's the procrastination demon. That's the doubt demon. That's the unsure of yourself demon. That's the I don't have enough self-confidence demon. God is walking with you, man, through the shadows and the valleys of death. You will fear no evil because thy rod and thy staff, they're with you. So you have to believe that and step out on faith. Even for me, it took me a while to get to that point. I must admit, though, I've always had a little bit of confidence, though. That's just my upbringing. But, I am human. So there are times where I was like, man, I don't know if I can do that. And then I end up doing it and all is good. And I'm like, oh, well, man, I slayed that demon. So now it's off to the races. It's off to the next thing. But you can have everything that you want in life. You can have everything that you need in life. And you can reach everything. You can also reach your full potential. You just got to get out there and you have to go out there, believe in yourself, and you have to do it. So with that being said, man, keep it country, keep it cowboy, and God bless America.